Hello, everyone, and my name is the Enlightened One. Do you suffer from erectile dysfunction? Well, tune in to Wrestling with the Paranormal, and we will help you with all your erectile dysfunction problems. We have solutions within this show that will solve all your problems about raising the main sail. It's all your answers in a little blue pill. Wrestling with the Paranormal.
What's the deal with the Enlightened One?
I want to know what he just said.
He's trying to sell little blue pills to help with erectile dysfunction now?
This is the wrong type of show for that.
I don't know. I think he's got some sort of gig going on where he's got a side hustle. I don't know. But he's trying to do whatever he can to earn a few extra bucks, and I can't really blame him. Welcome to Wrestling with the Paranormal. I am one of your co-hosts. I am that gingered up bubbly son of a gun. Gonna have big fun on the show today. What?
I would expect you to say Canada Dry. Sorry.
Oh, I just did it random. Sorry. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Of course, you all know me as the Magician. You can find me here, there, pretty much everywhere these days. But yes, I'm super excited for today's show.
So today we're having a little bit of wrestling talk. We are going to have our main story is going to be about the Devil's Pools, the spirit of the devil, the deadly Devil's Pools, if you will. And with that'll be a little bit later. But right now, let's bring in Le Disciple and let's talk what's going on in the world of effing wrestling.
What's going on, George?
Hey, George.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good. How are y'all doing?
Good. We're just going to show the little... So, yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit about your show tomorrow, Liam?
So, yes. So on tomorrow's show, I'm excited to announce we've got our very own JFB. But the question on what's on everybody's lips is, will I have a shirt on or will I not? Now, Canada Dry, you set this bet up, so please explain what's been going on.
Okay, so if Liam's show from last week gets 100 views, I think he's currently sitting at 84, so he's really close. Liam's sweating over there. What do you think about this, George?
Well, with Liam sweating over there, let this man cool off. Let him take off his shirt. I know a very, very awesome GM who would be... it'd be the icing on the cake for him.
So, yeah, we have that tomorrow night. That'll be 6 Eastern.
5.
5 Eastern. That'll be 2 Pacific. Wherever the hell you are, George.
I'm Central.
Yeah, so
I don't know. I just pieced, but...
Right. So, we got a couple things we want to talk about in wrestling. What are our topics there, Liam?
So we're talking about Ric Flair with his last match. Apparently, he does not want it to be his last match. What do we think?
Okay, so he regrets saying it was his last match because now everyone wants to book him.
Yep.
George?
Well, first, I still say it's a great thing that everyone wants to book Ric Flair, because unless everyone was trying to book him for another match, then honestly, I think at that point it might be a little bit suicidal on Rick's body. So any appearance we can get, that'll always boost ratings or anything else. So that's great,
Speaking of boosting
especially
ratings, it's Joseph Graham.
Joseph. How's it going? But the last thing I would like to throw out there is that I guess according to Ric Flair, and I guess he got it off his chest on some podcast somewhere or whatever, that at least twice during that match he passed out, but he was able to get back into it.
That's the craziest thing. He didn't do too well health-wise in that match, but he still wants to do more.
I mean, the problem I have with this is we hear this a lot. Every wrestler saying, "Oh, this is our last match," but yet so many years down the line they come back for another match. So it's not your last match. So when Ric Flair says this, am I surprised? Not really.
Well, yeah, doesn't. Let me ask you guys this: does Ric Flair rip everyone off if he wrestles again?
In what sense
Is
do you mean
he
rip off?
stealing from the fans who ordered that pay-per-view, who went to the event? Is he stealing from them if he does another match? Ethically, think about that ethically.
Well, are you trying to get Ric Flair to pull out like a great to decent match, or just like the usual Ric Flair match that we usually get, like the Ric Flair strut?
No, I was
the
asking
bleed.
you. You're not really answering my question. Is he stealing from the fans if he does another match? What do you think, Liam?
I think it all depends what type of Ric Flair we're gonna get. I mean, how old is he now? I mean, off the top of my head, I'm not even too sure. But yeah, I think he would, because is it that age? I mean, what's the fan base going to be like as well? It could work two ways, to be honest.
Well, they built a whole event around Ric Flair and his last match. So if he comes back, everyone who ordered that pay-per-view, everyone who went to the event, they did really well too, right?
Yeah, I forgot how many it did. I think, didn't you announce that last week on your show?
Yeah, we did. So I think ethically, if you don't keep to your word, then I don't know. But does this open up an opportunity for other people to have their last match? We talked about that last week, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else we got, Liam?
So it depends. Who would you want to come back and see one last match? I mean, obviously we mentioned Undertaker Sting. I think that would be one match, but apart from that one match in particular, there's none really who stick out for me personally.
Yeah. What else we got on the list here?
Well, a tag team, a faction maybe rumored are coming back to WWE. Now, it's of course Hit Row. What do you think?
Hit Row. Now, we have a friend of the show, friend of F and Wrestling, Brian Idol, and he actually said it in our F and Wrestling community. He said, lock it in, that Hit Row is coming back. And he's obviously one of his best friends is Top Dollar. So if he's going to say it, lock it in, it's very, and everyone else is saying it too. So what do you think about this, George?
Well, I'd say whether they go back to WWE or somewhere else or not, all for them. Hopefully they're...
Well, minus Swerve.
Well, if not, I just hope they find their success, and whether it's going back to WWE under new management, which seems like it's going very well, hopefully they do more with them this time and actually let them be the stars that they know they can be. And honestly, I'd say as long as I guess they're employed and they can do what they do best, I'm all for it.
What do you think, Liam? Is this going to happen?
Yes, I think it will, but I think the question I have is how they're going to cope without Swerve, because it's like I said, I hope they find success, but
Well, Swerve wasn't the leader.
it was still a big part of that faction, though, weren't it?
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
How many people are in the hit row? Is it 4?
I think it's 4. Yeah. Yes, it was 4 including Swerve.
You get 3 guys.
That's still a good faction right there.
Guys, look who it is. Look who it is. It's Mega Moo. Welcome, Mega Moo.
Heaven. What?
Heaven Rennet. I can't even say her real last name. Renager. Her name is Mega Moo in AFW League. So welcome, Moo. I'm excited because AJ Francis, top dollar, he follows us on Twitter. So said I said the name close enough, Renager. That's close enough. All right. So yeah, this leads us to okay. So we have, who else do we have that came back? Who do we have, Liam, that came back?
So we had Cross that came back, obviously with Roman Reigns. I do believe Dexter Loomis made an appearance through the crowd. Yeah. That's the 2 obviously stick out. There may be some more I've missed. I'm not too sure, but yeah, I mean, wrestlers are starting to show back up. Do we see any more coming back?
Yeah, that's the question. Ask you guys, Joseph Graham and Mega Moo. Feels weird to say that on a podcast, Mega Moo. Right? So yeah, who do you think else shows up? Is Johnny Gargano going to go back to WWE?
Yes. I think that was the first name that came to mind, Gargano, because Dakota Kai's obviously gone back now. But yeah, only one who sticks out is probably Gargano. I mean, obviously WWE's released absolutely loads of wrestlers, so take your pick.
Well, Dexter Loomis already in a huge feud when he's stalking AJ Styles. No one better to start your WWE career in the main roster than with AJ Styles. Like, that's setting yourself up for success, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously they both were in TNA as well, so they've got that little bit of history there as well.
Yeah, definitely. But there's a few other names I think that could. Sasha Banks and Naomi come back as well.
There's been reports that they're obviously due back, so who knows?
That's a good point, Joseph. There's not always a rough spot for it, but like that's when you like send people to NXT, because they do have that, and you can make NXT better that way too, right?
Yeah, I mean, obviously,
which is what I think AEW's got to do, is that we're not using you on AEW right now, so why don't we move you to Ring of Honor? So I think that's a good setup for both companies.
So that brings me to a little question here. Do you think both companies could learn from each other with something like this?
I think definitely that is something that they can learn from. What about Bray Wyatt? There's rumors running around as well that Bray Wyatt is going back to WWE. This is the one that's not as substantiated as Hit Row.
The problem I've got George, with this is... Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Judge.
Well, I know Bray's doing a very good job at keeping us guessing, and obviously only Bray Wyatt is the only person who knows what he's going to do. But out of everything I've seen, I kind of feel like him going back to WWE is mostly the most logical, especially since when the Wyatt family first came on the scene, and then they pushed the hell out of the Wyatt family and then Bray Wyatt himself until they put him up against Big Match John, who was also Bray Wyatt was also supposed to basically kind of like be the next Undertaker or something.
Yeah.
And so you obviously have star power right there, and the Fiend gimmick being Bray Wyatt can just reinvent himself. He reinvented basically himself into the Fiend, which was a major success, which they let that go downhill, but
yeah. Actually, I was gonna say something, but I'm gonna let the magician say something on this.
So this is an interesting one because it's like, if he goes back to WWE, will he fit in? I mean, obviously, yeah. I can't see him fitting in because who does he feud with? Do you know what I mean? Who does he have good matches with? I just cannot see it working at all. But who knows?
Do you know what I just realized? I just realized this, that Eric Redbeard is on Dynamite next week.
Oh, yeah, he is.
So he's on Rampage tonight too.
What?
He's on Rampage tonight too.
Oh, okay. So no, it's tonight. He's on Rampage, not Dynamite, right?
Yeah,
he's tagging with Danhausen.
Beardhausen.
Yeah, Beardhausen. So does that open the possibility that Wyatt is coming to AEW? Like, you kind of wonder, did they set something up? You could have Danhausen in a faction with Wyatt, maybe.
He's a demon after all, so.
Yeah, right. Just have all these wacko guys together.
No, because I can just imagine like Danhausen being the comedy one, and then Bray's trying to be like the serious one. It's like, feeding off each other.
I think they could, because I think Wyatt has that comedy side to him, right?
Yeah.
Actually, they said before he was the Fiend, he was saying "yowie wowie" on the set of WWE all the time, just making people laugh. So he's got that comedy side to him.
Yeah, and plus I can see that face to face with Danhausen. I think that'd just be absolutely comical.
So I got a question for you guys. If Bray does go back to WWE, and let's say they don't have much for anything on him story-wise on the main roster, could we see him go to NXT 2.0 and shake up something there?
I don't see it in NXT. He's too big of a star.
No, yeah, he's too big. I mean, the NXT's got some big stars. They've obviously got Braun. I think Braun Breaker. That's probably the one who stands out for me.
Let's see what Joseph said. Lucha Underground was still around. Lucha Underground would be great. Even AAA. Imagine how big Bray Wyatt would be in AAA, showing up there to like Triple Mania. That they would go nuts. Okay, so let's move on to our next segment. What's our next segment, guys?
Bull or Truth.
Oh, that's it.
It's time for Bull or Truth. It gets him every time, doesn't it, Liam?
It does. So, George, obviously you got me last week. So, what you got for us this week?
Well, so I will pan you with another question. Are zombies real? Now, a study down in Pennsylvania, somewhere, I'm just going to say Pennsylvania because I've forgotten the specific place, but a professor was doing a study on if zombies are real and depicting it from all these zombie movies you see and how people are being infected and this disease spreading. Well, apparently during his research, he was reading like other people's research about zombie infectious disease, but also one in particular from a different professor somewhere in another part of Pennsylvania. But he found out apparently that it's not something specific that's found in humans. It's found in other insects, kind of like ants and all your other small typical bugs. That it's kind of
says bugs. He says like bugs.
Bugs. And what's up, Doc? I don't have a carrot with me, but
next week you're gonna have a carrot on the show.
Oh, maybe, just maybe.
Oh, we got Joseph Graham. Florida man, zombies are real with their bath salts. I also want to get Joseph's opinion. I want to know if he thinks this is real too. So,
ooh, okay, cool. But apparently, what they found out is this disease isn't common in us humans or as people. It's found in these bugs, these insects, and everything else, kind of. Maybe a few other mammals and stuff, but I've totally forgotten the name, so I'm just going to call it a fungus because it's a sciencey name, and everyone knows how that goes. But it's a type of fungus that they have. I'm not. There really wasn't too much sure if it was like something that's just in them as a defense mechanism, but it's just a thing where if they're attacking, the other party that's basically losing gets infected, and then it's a thing that sends a mechanism to the brain to kind of shut it down or to kind of turn it against itself, and then becomes a zombie-like state before just dying. But there's like no much movement for that or anything reports as like kind of going off and eating their other pact, or I don't know, their like group kind of thing. But because of this fungus, it's kind of proof that I guess zombies are real, but not really too much on a wide scale of people being infected. So
Okay, so this is it. You're done.
yep, go ahead.
All right. Okay, guys. Heaven and Joseph, let us know. Is he lying? Is this bull or is it truth? Let us know in the comments. Liam, you want me to go first or you got this?
I'll let you go first.
Okay, I'm going to say this is truth. And Joseph Graham says, that sounds like it's true.
I'm going to say it's bull. There's just something. I find this hard to believe.
One of us is going to be wrong.
I would just
George,
wait.
come on. You're holding us in heads here.
Oh, sorry. I thought we were waiting for Heaven a little more, but I'll just go ahead. I'll say ding, ding, ding. This one is, I'm going to give it truth. Now,
there we go.
Towards the end of this, it does. So the thing I have is that I'm just slightly giving it to a truth because they kind of technically do prove it, but if it was more testing on humans, I probably would have said false.
Yeah, exactly.
This one's more of a middle ground but wacky one.
That's pretty much what you're saying. They're still working on it.
Yeah, don't worry. Next pandemic, zombies will be here. It's okay. You won't have to worry about your toilet paper and whatever else then.
What? Magician, you got fooled again. 2 weeks in a row.
Yes, I know. I need to.
He's getting better at this.
Yes, he is. Well done. That's 2 weeks in a row he's got me. I'm really, really.
Am I good?
Annoyed. Yeah.
All right, George. We are getting ready for our main event, so we'll see you next week with another Bowl or Truth with Le Desapel.
Alrighty.
See you later.
See ya. All right, have fun. Ooh, Spider-Man.
Which brings us. Wait, what about me? Well, we were trying to see your opinion if that was a true story or not, but we already spoiled it. So now we come to the part of our show where we tell story time.
Okay, that made me jump.
Ah. All right, so it's story time with the magician, baby.
Yeah, baby. So obviously, last week we was in America. Where are we this week?
We are in the land down under, mate.
Australia.
To the straight for the mommy. Okay, so I'm just gonna add to the banners because it's better now. It's not showing up.
Uh-oh. Have we broke it?
Damn it, I broke it. There we go.
There we go.
The Deadly Devil's Pools. Now, this is in Babinda. Is that how do you say this?
Babinda.
Babinda. Oh, it's Babinda, mate. There we go. No, we didn't say it. So, we have the Babinda Boulders. And this is a kind of like a park area. It's a town, but it's become this tourist sort of area, and it's got this crazy sort of rivers with like caverns and just all sorts of craziness going on through the mountains and the rocks. And the legend starts with the Yidindi tribe. And this is before like any of the British people came to Australia. And so the legend starts with this. The leader of the tribe, the chief, if you will, his name was Warano. And he was engaged to be married to a beautiful young lady named Ulana. And he loved Ulana, and he thought Ulana loved him. But one night, Ulana married another warrior whose name was Digger. And Warano, he got ripe with jealousy, and he got all the warriors together, and they cornered Digger and Ulana on a cliff by the river, and they kind of were going to kill him, but they jumped off, and Digger immediately was sucked in the water and died. And Ulana screamed, and it created this, the legend says it created this crazy rapid river, and the river just changed from like a regular river to this like torrent of like angry rushing river until she also disappeared. Now the legend goes on that whenever anyone from the Yidini tribe would come near the river, she would pull them in to their death. And the other people would notice that they saw the hand actually pull their friend in. Now, this legend kind of died off a bit, but the deaths did not. So over 100 years, over 20 people have died in the Babinda, in the Deadly Devil's Pools. Now, our first one that we're going to start with, it goes from June 10th, 1933. And they had strange names in 1933. The guy was named Winterbottom.
That just sounds
Hello,
like a proper
Mr.
Australian.
Winterbottom. Would you like to go in the Devil's Pool? And he got dragged into the whirlpool at the bottom, and no one could find his body. And not only that, a few years later, in November of 1940, John Dominic English, he was 8 years old, and he also got sucked in one of the whirlpools. And they took a long time to find his body. A lot of the divers and everything, they were looking for the bodies and couldn't find it for days. So eventually, they stopped allowing people to swim at this place because a lot of people were dying. So they built a kind of a fence around there and put signs, you can't swim, and all that stuff. And then they made this sign for, his name was Pete Mccann. And the sign says, He came for a visit, but he stayed forever.
How creepy does that sound? Just that phrase
Yes,
alone.
yes. He came for a visit, but he stayed forever. So 20-year-old Pete Mccann, he was there with his friends in 1979 of June 22nd, and they were just kind of hanging out, having fun, and they weren't even near the water. They were hiking up to the top of the falls, and when they got to the top, oh sorry, not to the top, when they were right around the top, Pete noticed there was a gap between two rocks where the waterfall was falling. A little bit of water was coming in, and he decided he was going to impress his friends by jumping from one side of the cliff to the other. Now, this seemed like an easy jump to do, or he wouldn't have tried it. So this is where the creepiness comes in. They say when he jumped, all of a sudden, all his forward momentum was just like stopped, like he hit a invisible sort of brick wall.
So essentially, like he jumped and then just stopped there and just went.
Yeah, like your forward momentum just kind of ended, and you're
Yeah.
kind of like sucked in down to the and he died. And did they find the body on this one?
I do not believe they didn't. No.
I don't think they did find the body on this one.
Nope.
So fast forward 30 years later, this is the creepiest one to me, because you can't really dismiss this one to accidents. So and this guy's a Navy sort. He was in the Navy in Australia. So November 30th, 2008. So this isn't even that long ago.
No.
4 guys. They wanted to just have some downtime with, just chill out, have a couple beers, just relax, enjoy the summer, and so they got the fences there, and you're not allowed to climb over the fences, but they noticed there was a bunch of kids that were also over the fences, so they're like, well, obviously it's safe if they're going to be over there. So they found, they climbed the fences, and they found a nice pool. There wasn't no rushing sort of stream or anything like this, and it seemed perfectly safe. They're all kind of relaxing. They haven't even opened any beer yet, and they're waiting in the pool. They're just kind of there, and all of a sudden, James gets pulled right under, and they're freaking out. They think he's joking at first, but then they see his hands up, and they're seeing him struggle, and they climb out of the water and try to get a branch to him, but it's too late. He's completely pulled under the water. Now, to me, this is the creepiest one. What is pulling someone under the water?
Do you know what? This is the most baffling story I've done to date, but I have got a little bit of a thing with this.
Well, let's make the tag.
Thank you for the tag. I've got it.
Yeah.
So, obviously, you spoke about stories in the water. I'm going to talk about stories which has happened outside the water a little bit.
Yeah, like there's some freak accidents and stuff that seem like, is this an accident or is this like something that's going on?
Absolutely. So my first one is now a young couple obviously went to...
breaking news here.
Oh, dear.
We're at 85 views for that now.
Has he just watched it again?
I don't know.
Oh, dear. I can't wait for this. So, yeah, obviously, so a young couple went to visit the Babinda... I can't even say it now. Babinda what?
Babinda Boulders.
The Babinda Boulders.
Babinda Boulders.
Now, they went, obviously, during a heavy rainstorm, which we forgot to mention that, obviously, this is what this area was known for, having the most rain. Can you what? Sorry, I was trying to read that comment, what George has put.
Oh, George said, can't the current pull you under the water? So, yeah, it's possible that there's some sort of undercurrent that's going through all the caverns and everything underneath.
Yeah. But like I said, we'll get to the...
Yeah, like you were saying, this is the area in Australia that gets the most rain.
13 feet, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, it gets a lot.
Yeah. But anyway, so back to obviously the young couple. Young couples do. They like to go for walks. Now, obviously, they were walking along the lower walkways because there's like different levels. And then I have a stone, and is it what? I'm reading these comments. It's really throwing me off.
So, Megamoo has a story, a paranormal story that is still happening to her. So we're gonna get her on the show.
Get her on next week.
She's gonna explain.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. So obviously, the couple obviously went for a nice walk. Obviously, heavy rainstorm and stuff like that. Now they came across a lifeguard, which obviously they wanted to take a picture. Like couples do, and stuff like that. Now, as the
The water cow, not the water cow.
Oh dear, this is brilliant. But yeah, obviously,
what does a water cow say?
Blah. We're never going to get this episode done, are we?
Oh man, that's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, no worries. But yeah, obviously they came across this lifeguard, which they asked him to just take a picture, like normal couples do. Now, as the lifeguard began to obviously take the picture, a storm flow swept the couple into the water. Now, immediately the lifeguard threw the camera down. He jumped into the water. Now, this is the confusing bit for me. He was able to save the woman, but he could not save the guy. And
yes, somehow. Yes, and that's the thing about this legend is that Ulana is going after men only.
Yes.
Which kind of lends to the legend, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Which, again, brings me to my next story.
We have Megamoo saying, this is what Water Cow says. It says, blub, blub, blub.
Oh, dear. This is brilliant. So that's one story. Now, the next one comes from a 15-year-old boy. From a 15-year-old boy. Now, this 15-year-old, like a typical...
It's a bath bomb cow. Anyways, sorry.
I'm enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it. So, yeah, a 15-year-old boy went on with a school trip, obviously with a school. Now, this 15-year-old was his typical, is the word troublesome, as they call it. He didn't care about anything. He was kicking the signs. It was destroying the area, so to speak. Now, apparently, he slipped on a wet patch and fell into the water. Now,
a bit of mud kind of thing.
Yeah, so the problem I've got with this one, this seems more accidental than storyline, but I thought I'd bring it up to get your opinion on it.
Well, it's interesting because it's almost like karma, like was it Willy Wonka played out in real life?
Yes, it is. That is very, very true. And then obviously searchers were absolutely trying to find him, but again, they couldn't find him. So
yeah, but it's kind of similar to where the guy is hiking and he gets sucked as he jumps. It's taking any little opportunity to pull you in.
Yeah, absolutely. And then this is actually not too long ago, this next one. In November 2014. So what's that? 8 years ago? So it's not too long ago.
Yeah.
A 56-year-old man called Morris Shutter. Now, what a name.
Wait, I just want to say, I noticed that people from England say his name was called George, or his name was called Tom.
Morris.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's always the accent.
Use the word called instead of his name was. There's a bit of cultural thing there.
His name was.
Do it how you're doing it. I'm sorry.
It's all right. I'm loving it. It's obviously Morris Shutter. Now, he was paddling, on the water. Now, apparently, according to legend, he fell into the water and he went missing for a total of 26 days.
Now he was dead, obviously.
Yeah,
He wasn't just missing; he was dead.
but this is the most confusing thing for this. His remains were found 18 months later intact.
Damn water!
That's-
Damn those bath bomb cows! Damn those
Now,
bath bomb cows!
the confusing thing for this is, wouldn't water like decompose like a body, so to speak? So the fact that his body was still intact a little bit, it's kind of like confusing.
Yeah, like shouldn't it? Like you see in them, even on TV shows, you see someone who is found in this is an ocean because it's got salt, so it changes things, right?
Yeah. So, but the
But
fact
even in
that
the water, something's gonna happen to your body where it's gonna be all kind of. Isn't there fish gonna mess with it too?
well, that's the exact thing I got when I read this. But apparently, according to legend, his body was in a reasonable, acceptable state. So take that out with a pinch of salt.
Pinch of salt.
A pinch of salt. And then I've got one more story. Now, Pete Mccann, this is no relation to the one you mentioned earlier. Pete Mccann, or was that right?
Beat him again, yeah.
Yeah. Now, apparently he was climbing 40 feet above the surface, and apparently an invisible force
This is the same story. They're just kind of retelling it.
Yeah. Now, apparently it was 40 feet above surface.
Yeah, you're just giving more details.
Yeah. And apparently an invisible force plucked him out of thin air.
Yeah,
Just
so
like
just
that.
kind of. Now, is this something that they're just kind of added to over the years? Or is it just pure accident where he misjudged it and fell?
It's a plausible explanation, I will be honest, but
Yeah.
there's so many little details to this, it's kind of like confusing. But of course, I've got.
Like, think about it, this is over 100 years. 20 people die. That's not a huge amount.
No, it's only 20 people. I mean,
You got a park like that, people are coming for recreation. 20 people dying over 100 years, it's going to happen. But
yeah, absolutely. So obviously, now that's all these stories done. Now I've got a bit of a backstory with all this. So to give people listening a little bit of context, what the boulders are like. It is volcanic tunnels and tubes, which apparently was lava flow underwater currents. So apparently these were like caused by a lava flow, very historic. That's how all these like tunnels all came to a be, so to speak.
that's there's science behind this. So is it paranormal or is it science?
Who knows? I mean, there's so much I've managed to find on this. It's really, really confusing. Now, I've got...
What is this? Don't sound too bum about it, Aaron. What does that even mean?
Who knows? Now, I've got a little section here from the divers. Now, obviously, the divers...
Yes, this is what I want to talk about. Okay, go ahead.
So, one of the divers, according to one of these divers, it took 5 weeks, which it lasted... No, sorry. According to one diver, it lasted 5 weeks to try and free the young swimmer. And it was as an unseen force was unable, stopping them from, science. Oh, Evans proper threw me now. So there's the first.
That's a good point too. It could be just a force of wind or something. But yeah, this diver, no matter what they did, they couldn't. He was stuck on a branch or some sort of thing, and for 5 weeks they couldn't free this dead body. And then, when they were restoring their energy and getting ready to go back down, all of a sudden he plops up at the surface. Okay, fine, you can have him. I don't need him anymore.
Yeah, there you go. Do.
Yeah, here, take him. I don't care. I'll take someone else later.
And yeah, so apparently the COD for these people was, of course, drowning. However,
the COD, the cash on delivery.
Cause of death. Sorry, that's for the
sorry.
That's for the crime people.
Yeah,
it could be cash on delivery if you want. Now, apparently,
I think COD would work double if you were a hitman, because
Yes.
then you could pay cash on delivery. Thanks for killing him.
Oh dear. Now, apparently, all these deaths were known like registered as drowning. However, not them all were in the water. So why were the CRDs down as drowning?
Yeah. So the cause of death wasn't drowning?
No. So apparently, all the deaths were registered as drowning, but not all of the people were in the water.
Yeah, right, because they're pulled off the cliffs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is kind of like the confusing little bit.
But yeah, let's get into let's try to dissect this a bit.
So my theory was for this. I said, and I think George mentioned it. What current? Like, do you know, undercurrent water under the water?
Yeah, that one's very possible. Or he misjudged it, and he thought he was more athletic than he is.
The only reason I'm obviously not I don't think it's the water current is like, do you remember the story you talk about the 4 guys?
Yeah.
Only one of them got pulled underwater.
James got sucked under.
Yes, but so wouldn't all 4 be sucked under if it were like the current?
Well, they could be standing in a spot that is very vacuumy, I guess.
Yeah, that's
so like he was struggling. So did he get pulled under by some sort of force? Or that one's perplexes me a bit more than the other ones.
Yeah, there's. So obviously science has been mentioned a lot. Now this is the other theory. Now streams of bubble, obviously in the water, reduce.
Mega Moo says it's the government. The government.
It's always the government. So I just want to get your opinion on this little section here. Now streams of bubbles obviously are in the water, which obviously reduce water buoyancy, which means if people drown, the only way they do that is with an additional assistance.
Oh, right. That's in the washing machine area that they're talking about, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that is interesting too, right? Because it has more buoyancy. But is there the tunnels added to that? Add to that. Like you got the buoyancy in the bubbles, but the tunnels and all that kind of stuff, you don't know what the heck's going on, right?
Yeah, I'm not leaning towards paranormal. I think it is like the underwater thing. It's like a combination of two. But what's your theory on this?
Or what about this? And a lot of times when we believe in legends, we give them life. So like when everyone kind of, this place is kind of spooky, this is haunted, you're giving power to this thing. So could it be that the legend was given life by the people in Australia?
Yes, I mean the local
and
residents
it actually did do some of this damage, because people say that they feel this sort of like spiritual sort of thing going on there, where it's creepy. They say.
Yeah, I mean, apparently the local residents there are more than happy to share all the stories about the thing, which kind of like backs up what you've just said there.
So, yeah, I
don't think it's paranormal.
It's one of those things. It's like, yeah, it could easily be just, their accidents, but that's what paranormal is. It's always a bit of doubt in there, right? Could this just be, he ate a bad submarine sandwich and it messed with his, chemicals in his brain? And
yeah, the problem I have with this, and obviously we talked about it earlier, there's only 20 deaths. It's not really like a big number in a way. It's only 20.
Do you want more people to have died? You monster.
No, but the point I'm trying to make is like, for it to be really mysterious, the numbers are going to be quite high in a way.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I've got on this one.
I think we can kind of wrap up this story then. and we can really think about what it is that our where is it? What is our knowledge of power moment in life? What is the knowledge? What is your knowledge of power, Liam? You got to have something for me this week.
Yeah. So, kids, if you're out and about and you see some water and it says a sign, "Do not swim," even though there's people in it, for Christ's sake, do not swim in that water because you never know what's in it.
Especially if you're a boy.
Yeah, especially.
Yeah, boys are victims here.
Yeah, especially if you're a boy.
Yeah. So I've been thinking about this all week, and I'm really pondering, what is the meaning of life? And I really think the answer is this. We really need to love each other and care about each other, and not try and chase something that doesn't really belong to you in the first place. And that's going to the legend of Ulana and Digger and Warano. So Warano made the mistake of feeling vengeful, and he caused Ulana and Digger to their death. The dude had power. He could have chased any other girl. They would have wanted to be with him. He should have just moved on and been the gracious. But unfortunately, power always corrupts. So the knowledge of power moment is this: don't let power corrupt you.
That was a great knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power.
Power.
Yeah, so I think that kind of wraps up our episode. As always, tomorrow night, we have 5 o'clock Eastern. We have the magic of wrestling. And we're going to find out if JFB and Liam are going to do the show shirtless.
Can I just say, just for people listening, every time the view count's gone up, my eyes have gone like, oh, here we go.
You know what? I didn't think it would ever get this much. So it's really done what it's supposed to do.
We know what type of audience we've got now.
Yeah. And then, of course, Sunday, we have Dollywood on the show. If you don't know who Dollywood is, why don't you know who Dollywood is? Dollywood is our friend Rebecca. She's joined the All Effin' Wrestling League, and she's in our Effin' Wrestling community, and she's just awesome. And she is going to be one of the women representing wrestling in our brand, and she's going to be on the show at least once a month. We'll try to get her in more. Yeah. Do you want to plug the website and
Yes, absolutely. You can head to fmwrestling.com. We're always putting loads of stories on there. You can connect with us personally. I do accept nudes. Oops. You can also head to prowrestlingtees.com/fmwrestling. You can buy one of these Wrestling with the Paranormal t-shirts. You can also buy, I think this one, I'm not too sure. That's all from me.
All right, and remember, keep on wrestling with the paranormal. Where the hell is it? Where the hell is it? I don't even know where they are. There it is.
kids, have your cat spayed or neutered. Help control the pet population.
Believe it or not, I'm walking on air. I never thought I could feel so free. Flying away on a wing and a prayer. Who could it be? Believe it or not, it's just me. And remember, keep on fighting.